have you ever cried tears of joy, like actual solid tear drop, not just moisture from real happiness? I have cried tears of joy one time in my life. Thank you so much for the sub, Dark Stromner. And it was when I got into Carnegie Mellon, because it was all me. Like, I worked really hard to get into a good school. I didn't have it as easy as my peers at all, and I was basically figuring out everything myself, and I had to like hustle to get like recommendations from people who had like worked at the school or gone to the school. And I got aced all these AP exams. Like, all I wanted to do was get out of that fucking town and go somewhere where I could be an intellectual. As weird as that sounds, I wanted to just go to college and be an intellectual. And like, I was always looking for my people. I always felt like I could never had my people around. I never had people who understood me or people who are like nerdy and intellectual like me. I never had any of that. And I was always around like pretty toxic environments with like my mom's boyfriends and stuff, or they were usually pretty toxic. And so, whereas all my other peers and other kids at the school that were getting into good colleges, they had good families and good parents, and they were in all the extracurriculars. Like, I was like working at GameStop through my junior year, like renting a room from some guy who worked at the Chinese buffet in the mall during my junior year, taking like every AP class and going to work at GameStop after school so that I could buy Pop-Tarts and ramen. And I lived alone. It was a long story why I lived alone. Like, it wasn't because of my mom. It was because of the guy she was with. I just hated him, so I left. And she was kind of like, my mom is very, I don't know if you guys remember my mom, but she's very much about that school of hard knocks. So where I think a lot of other moms wouldn't have let their kid do what I did, but she was like, well, you think you're big? Let's see. That's how my mom was. And to be fair, I only lasted like 6 months because I got really stressed and I was like crying all the time. And it was definitely hard. Though I think if I had not had that experience of like the struggle, I think I would have been less likely to want to take the easy way out when it came to making money, because I went through the struggle of like how much it sucks when you have literally like $3 and you're hungry. And you also need to have $1 for gas because I drove around a pink moped, and it was just like, I think I would have been way less seduced by all the fast, easy money with all the sex industry stuff if I'd had a little bit more of a normie background. But it is what it is, Anyway, and through all that, I had so much hardship in high school. Like, it was hard, it was rough, and like then all the teachers would feel sorry for me or call child services. It was so fucking annoying. And then all the students, I didn't really have friends because I didn't want their parents to find it, because I tried to have friends sometimes, and then they would tell their parents some shit about me, and then their parents try to get involved, and everybody's worried about me, and I just wanted to go to school. Everybody's all up in your business, And, wow, I haven't talked about my childhood that much, but hey, we're turning over a new leaf. My childhood sucked. I think it didn't suck as bad as it could have sucked, but it sucked. Yeah, so I worked so hard to get it. I couldn't afford to apply to more than, like, I think I only applied to 2 colleges. One was UVA and one was Carnegie Mellon, because I couldn't afford the like $70 application fees for like multiple schools. So I had to like pick the ones that were a reach. Oh yeah, I applied to UF, but you didn't have to pay as much to apply to UF. I had the whole Bright Future scholarship that Florida has, so UF was like mostly free for me. But I didn't want to go to UF. I wanted to go to Carnegie Mellon, which my whole stance on college is like 100% different a decade later. But this is 2009 for you. College was still very much a thing, versus nowadays people are like, you don't need college, just like look hot on TikTok and that's it, So yeah, I came home from like school one day. I was back to living with my mom at this time, but she was at work, and checked the mail, because I've been checking the mail like every day of the month that you're supposed to get the letters. And then I pulled out that, oh yeah, to apply to the colleges, $70 per application, so I only applied to 3. And I sold my World of Warcraft Resto Shaman that I had worked on all summer prior to my senior year. Because that whole summer, all I did was play Burning Crusade and drink Mountain Dew Revolution from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. So my Resto Shaman and TBC was pretty fucking decked out. Oh, I sold her. I think then Wrath came out. And then I had a bunch of gear from Nexramas. But then I was like, taking AP classes and doing all this shit. And so I had to sell I sold my World of Warcraft Resto Shaman, who's like geared out with Nax gear and stuff, for like a couple $100 on one of those account selling sites so that I could pay for my college application fees. And I did all this shit, and then one day I got that fucking envelope in the mail. Big, thick packet full of all their brochures and bullshit. And that's the only time I can remember ever crying tears of joy. Like true tears of just absolute relief and joy and validation. And I am smart enough, and I am good enough, and all that stuff. And then the whole me falling into the sex industry thing was just me trying to go to that fucking school. The application fees are so dumb, yeah. Oh, yeah, I was pretty happy taking my implants out, too, to be fair. Yeah, you're right. That was way more just relief, though. I don't know if it was joy, but it was mostly relief.